Hi, friends. Welcome back to Attacking Third. We have a great show for you today. I'm your host, Darian Jenkins, joined by Sandra Herrera, and Jordan Angeli is back in the house. Jordan, it's been a minute. It's so good to see your face.
Thanks, Dee. Yeah, I haven't worked with you in a while, and I love this. We had a little reminiscence of the olden days, A3, so good to be with you and always with you, Sandra. I'm excited to be back.
The olden days. I love it.
I love it too. I was so pumped when I saw that I was going to be on the show with the two of you. I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to have anything to say because I'm just going to be like here, like in the background, like with my googly eyes. Like I'm sitting there with like the two best analysts in the game right now. Like what do I
eyes? You need your glasses on because it clearly was
glasses
day.
The memo. Yeah. I missed the memo. Here I am, everybody. But no, this is awesome. Let's do it.
It's good you have good eyesight. Yeah, I tried to rock the no glasses and I realized I would be like this the whole show trying to see.
So we like that view, but this one's good as well too.
We can back up a little bit. I love it. Everybody, you're in the chat, you're watching us on YouTube, you're listening as a podcast or on Galazzo.net. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you jump in the comments. Let us know what you think. Ask us any questions. What's on your mind? Hit us up. We have a really fun show. We're going to be talking about Women's Champions League Match Day 1 that just happened. We love it. New league phase. Big matches early on. Some what we can call upsets. My dark horse crashed out. Shout out to Bayern. Really, really disappointing. And we're going to talk about NWSL Week 24, which is absolutely insane. I can't believe we're 24 weeks in. Jordan, how many?
I can. If you look at my United app, you will believe that we're 24.
That's what I was gonna ask. You must rack up some points, though.
I have good points. You would think I would be upgraded to first class more often, but that is not the case, which is a big bummer for a 4-hour flight back and forth to Florida. But yeah, I can believe we're in week 24, and this is where it all gets fun too.
Yeah, the table's closed. We have all the drama, big changes, some teams crashing out and some teams staying in for the long haul. Talking about Utah, never say die. I absolutely love it. But before we get into NWSL, let's go into Women's Champions League. One of the big matches that we saw yesterday, rematch of last year's semifinal. We saw Arsenal come back after losing in the first leg and score 4 goals against Lyon in the second leg. And I thought, hey, Lyon, they're going to want vengeance. They're going to come back. But Arsenal, they added a young buck, Olivia Smith, onto their team. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but Lyon are my favorites for this. And they came out with a statement, in my opinion. I thought that the way that they played was really dynamic. They adjusted to what Arsenal did. I think like 10 minutes into the game, they switched their press around. Melchi Dumoulin scores 2 goals off of Arsenal's horrible mistakes building out of the back. And Arsenal got 1. They scored the first one with Alessia Russo, but it wasn't enough. But let's just talk about Lyon first. Sandra, I'll come to you. Do you think that this was a huge statement win for Lyon to set their tone of the tournament?
I don't know if I would call it like a huge statement. I would say it was like half a statement. I loved everything they were giving in the first half of this game. I mean, more from Melchi Dumoulin, right? Like we are thirsty for it. We want to see it. Incredible baller. And I was like, I always have such pride whenever she takes a pitch. I'm always here for players in the region. I'm preaching in the choir here. We love to see it. But I mean, this is Champions League and Arsenal are the reigning title holders. I was looking for that adjustment. Maybe it came in the form of an Olivia Smith in that second half. But I was looking for more just because of the way that they were competing in that first half. It's like, surely this game is eventually going to find itself getting away from Arsenal. But it just didn't. There was enough there, I think, in halftime, especially with that double save at the end, to kind of just feel like it was stopping like the bleeding, because it just felt like these attacks were coming in waves and waves and waves. So I think that's great for Lyon, but they're going to look back at this game and say, we left a little bit off of the table there. This should have been more than 2-1.
Interesting. I thought that for me, these are the games that we are most excited about in this stage, right? Is you get a real test early on in the tournament to see, all right, do we pass or fail. And I don't actually think this is maybe a fail for Arsenal. I think that they can learn so much for this, that they can use the adaptation that Lyon had early in their tactics. Okay, then what's our counterpunch, right? You learn those things. I don't feel like Arsenal truly counterpunched with some of the ways that they could have switched their tactics up when that happened. And so can Arsenal use this as the growth? I think that's the big question. Are they going to use this first game day as like, here, we can get better from this? Because if you can get to knockouts, that's what it's really about, right? This is going to be a different path to get to the knockout phase, but I wouldn't say it's a statement win. And I don't think it is. I don't think in the end, it's going to be that big of a deal for Arsenal personally.
I do wonder if like there was that thought in my head for sure after kind of the whistle went and the 90 minutes were played. I was like, it kind of just feels like maybe there was a bit of it was almost like a favor done for Arsenal to kind of have to take on Lyon first, like this early in the league phase, and just sort of get that out of the way, whether it comes in a draw or in this case, a narrow loss. And to Jordan's points about still kind of finding enough silver linings in that to move forward.
Yeah, I guess it's goal differential too, right? So you keep it narrow, you don't give up too many goals, and that could be the differentiation factor in the end.
Yeah.
I guess my big concern with Arsenal is they've been bad domestically. I mean, not bad, but you're the reigning champions of Champions League and you're not doing well domestically. You're dropping points against teams you should beat with the money spent over the summer, the talent that you have. You have Mariana Caldente. Oh, also I learned, shout out to Celia, my friend from the Spanish national team. She told us we've all been saying her name wrong. It's Mariana Caldente. I think I'm saying that right. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna try to.
We need that. Bring it.
Wrap my brain around that. But you have her on your team. Basically the front line that is a dynamic trio with a really deep bench as well. And I expected a lot more of them. And I do think looking at the big teams that we're really familiar with that we always see in the quarters, semis, finals in this Champions League, between them and Chelsea, I think they dropped the ball. These are the times when it sets the tempo for me of how we're looking at you in this tournament, how you're playing in this tournament. And if you're dropping points early on to Lyon, I don't know. As a player, I'm concerned.
Yeah, but didn't you just say Lyon is your favorite?
Yeah, they absolutely are.
Yeah, this is.
I'm in the mind of a gunner right now. Okay, not of a lion. No, I look like a lion.
You do, very lion-like today. I like it.
Yeah, I don't think it's unfair to say you wanted to expect more from Arsenal as title holders. I mean, and given the way that they started this game, right? Like going up first, just 7 minutes into the game, Alessia Russo, like it almost sort of felt like, okay, like here we go. But we just saw them kind of fail to capitalize on that momentum and then sort of sparked to life like really, really late in the game. And it was just like huge gaps in between. So obviously better for Lyon. And I'm with you, D. I think even with a result like this, like and things to grow from, like they're still going to be a crazy, crazy good roster to go up against.
Well, I'm wondering, even thinking last year, Renee Sluggers came in for Jonas Eideval. She only had 5 months and won a Champions League. And Jordan, as a player, that new manager bump, I mean, it can go terrible, but it can also be great because you have a clean slate. You all have this new kind of resurgence of energy and commitment to the team and hungry to learn and just go ball. And I think that's what we saw last year. I mean, the second leg against Lyon, 3 of their 4 goals were in big 5 moments. First 5, end of the 5 of the first half, beginning of the second half. They came in punching. And I wonder if with Renee Sluggers having more time, it's more information, it's more tactics, it's a change up of what they're used to. And we're seeing like a really big learning curve, but at a critical time with Champions League.
It's an interesting place to be. And I think anytime you're the defending champions, you're going to have a target on your back and everybody's going to want to beat you. And we saw a little bit of that from Lyon, even though Lindsay Heap said, no, that was a different season. They wanted to crush them, and it wasn't quite the beating that they took last year, but it's in the back of your mind that you have a target on your back, and it's a different way to play when you are the team that everybody wants to beat. And I think Arsenal is dealing with a little bit of that right now. How do we keep our foot on the pedal and keep pressing in the ways that are true to them? Like, I think last year they were just a little bit more compact, slightly more compact. The seams between their lines were that much smaller, and you have to play that way when you're playing for something, right? And I think that they have to reset their minds, whether it's domestic play or Champions League, and say, all right, we got to tighten these little things up. Even Emily Fox said that. Like, it's just a little loose for us. And that could be on the ball with their passing and playing to the right foot, or playing into the space when they need to. Or it can be defensively on where's our pressure cover, especially. How do we track runners? How do we switch in moments and have the good communication to make sure that when teams are having these heavy rotations, as Lyon does, we are managing that better. And so that's why I think this is going to be a wake-up call for them. And it might be the best wake-up call that they can have, because even though domestic season isn't going great, this is, if you're the defending champions, that's going to be maybe the punch in the gut that you need.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Well, Sandra, I know Crystal Palace isn't in this, but let's talk about Chelsea. This is a team that I had much higher expectations for coming into this, winning the triple in England. This is they're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I think that, watching Chelsea put out their 11 against Twente made me think that they're underestimating Twente. But then also, you're getting these players that aren't normally going to start, in my opinion. When if they were playing a Lyon or Arsenal, I don't think most of those players would start. The 5 changes that they made, you're throwing them into the deep end of getting that experience of pressure, of a new style of play that's not the WSL, where you're going to have to adjust, and it's going to be more physical and very surprising because you're not familiar with these opponents. So I guess it was kind of a win in that way, but tying 1-1 to Twente when you're Chelsea seemed like a big disappointment to me.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think seeing that starting lineup for Chelsea, there was like, okay, like you celebrate the things like, wow, look, Alyssa Thompson, like getting the Champions League, start. Like, we love to see it. This is part of the rationalities, in terms of like making that move overseas. Like, you want to compete in these games. But I'm with you in that. Yeah, maybe it comes off a little bit of just like kind of disrespectful if you're Twente. And I'm just like, this is a team that's not unfamiliar with this competition. They're 10-time Dutch champions. Like, it's like, that's, if you're Chelsea and you're looking at that game one and you're making that many rotations, if I'm on the other side of that and if I'm rocking the red, I'm like, okay, you're about to find out. Like, you're really about to find out for real. And I kind of feel like Jill Rohr was the catalyst in that. I would be 0% shocked if the vet on that team said, they do not respect us. They do not respect us. They're going to underestimate us. Watch and find out. And I think there's a little bit of like, that's kind of the energy that happened. Like, it just sort of felt like, okay, like, it's Chelsea, right? Like, surely something's going to happen, but it didn't. And then it didn't. And then it didn't. And then you see the goal come for 20. And that's what it is. It's almost like you had that moral, like, it came in phases, right? The game always comes in phases. It's almost like getting to that scoreless halftime was that, that check off the box of like, let's get this moral victory. Let's let them know. And then let's really kind of like shake things up and do that. You hate to see it come down to like a pen. I know folks are going to be upset about that, but it got called and you get converted. It's Sandy Baltimore. Of course, she's going to convert that. But I think in the body language after this game, it was absolutely that moral victory for Twente going forward. And for Chelsea, they've got work to do, because that is not how you want to start your Champions League, especially when you're being touted as one of these big four, the ones who are going to be considered the favorites in this new league phase format. And the whole point of it is to make it so that games look and feel like this. It's giving NWSL in the final 5 weeks of the season, right? Like, we love it. Congrats! I love that. Congrats to Europe for getting to know that feeling.
Yeah,
with champions. And like, it was very exciting for me as someone, stateside watching it, and that we're so used and deep in these NWSL streets. Like, it was giving that. And so I thought honestly, like probably one of my favorite, if not absolute favorite game of the opening games. But absolute great performance for Twente, and tough for Bon Pastor. I think there's got to be a little bit of soul searching after that, for sure.
Twente was really good, and I think we can't underestimate them like Chelsea did, because I think they underestimated them. And Chloe just in the chat there, we put a comment up from her, and she's spot on. The mindset in the second game is going to be different from Chelsea, but why wasn't the mindset in the first game different? You make all those changes, and yes, this is a deep Chelsea team, but I think some of their posture and the way that they attacked was super aggressive. And when you're making a couple of changes, maybe just be a little bit more cautious. This isn't domestic play, right? These are champions of their domestic leagues that you're playing, and the tactics are going to be different, and the way that they execute is going to be slightly different. And so I think Chelsea was still like super, especially in the first half, super front-footed, right? When it left gaps for Twente to attack and to find some success. To me, it was the difference in Twente was like, all right, we're going to be super compact. We're going to be really good at the defensive side of the game. And when we get our opportunity, we're going to score. And it felt like Chelsea was a little lax. And even like that goal should not have happened for Twente. If you track back from the midfield, go back and watch the midfielders for Chelsea track back. Like that is easy. It's so poor. They should be tracking back like their life depends on it, because there is a big gap at the top of the box. And that, if you're playing an elite team, they are going to make you pay. And that's exactly what they did. So yes, will the mindset be different for Chelsea in the second game? I think absolutely. But can Bon Pastor find that balance? Like if you are going to make a lot of rotations, even though you have a very deep bench, can you adapt a little bit of your tactics to make sure, hey, we're still going to be in control on the offensive side, but also on the defensive side, right? We're going to dictate the way that this game is played. And I think in moments, it just felt like they didn't have that super control like we're used to them having.
Yeah, that's facts. I do think, it seemed like they were building chemistry, like these new players. It felt like a different style of play from Chelsea than we're used to seeing. But a bright spot for me was Alyssa Thompson and Ellie Carpenter. I love that. I think it takes, Jordan, you're a defender. Like it takes some time to build chemistry, especially with the winger, of your movement, the speed, the decision-making of when do you overlap, especially with Alyssa's a 1v1 player. She wants to stand someone up, chop, slice, get end line, cut it back again. And for her and Ellie Carpenter to already have that chemistry of, I know when to stay out. I know when to make the run. I know when to give her space or when we're going to combine, gives me some hope. And I actually think with that, we'll see Alyssa Thompson get more minutes than I even expected her to get in this Champions League. But yeah, I think Chelsea are going to, I don't know, this league phase is interesting because, you look at the men's side, Barca won Champions League last year, right? They only came out with 3 points after 5 matches in the league phase. So there's a lot of room. And another team that's going to want that room and really be praying that they have it is Bayern Munich. So embarrassed. They were my dark horse. They are my dark horse.
They're really dark now.
It's dark. It's a dark time. Such a disappointing game. They lost to Barcelona 7-1. I expected so much more from this team. I've been hyping them up. You can roll the clips. I've been rocking with Bayern Munich because they've done so well domestically. They were missing my good friend Vanessa Gilles. She's out with an injury for some time. I think she brings a lot of veteran experience. Last year, you saw her with Lyon. She scored a bunch of goals. Great 1v1 defender. But it was poor. It was really poor. And I know we're getting a lot of the Barcelona fans coming at us. And that's okay. We love Barcelona. We love the way they play. I was concerned with their depth because we, haven't seen a lot of their academy players come and play against heavy competition with their full team, their first team. They showed out. I'll be the first one to say they absolutely balled out. But Jordan, how impressed were you with Barcelona, especially their youngsters that came in and scored 2 goals within like 15 minutes of being on the pitch?
It feels like one of those games where you just say, no notes.
Yeah.
Like no notes. Nope. I there's nothing that they could have done. Maybe you prevent the 1 goal, right? That would be the biggest thing that they would want different from this game. But I think it was like, I can't remember, 20 minutes into the game, they completed 208 of their 218 passes. Like, this Barca team will, it's just death by a million passes, and they will rotate, and players pop up in different spots. I thought Brutes was awesome as an outside back in the middle of the field at times, scoring a goal. Just the different looks that they give you is mind numbing. Like, you sometimes as a defender, you're like, I don't even know who to pick up. And so I thought that this Barcelona team, like, you can really see their cohesion. You can see what they're about. It doesn't matter. I think this is kind of what we were just talking about with Chelsea. Like, your identity is your identity, and stick to it no matter your changes, because you have so much depth. Well, Barca said, like, we have a lot of depth and we're going to show it, and it's still going to be the same style of play. It's still going to be the same results. And it's hard to pick which was the best goal, because there were so many really good ones.
I think just start from the top. I think it is Alexia Putellas' goal. I mean, it was absolutely a stunning world-class goal. It was a goal that ended up completely setting the tempo in this game. It absolutely was like, okay, well, any minute here, Bayern's going to recognize that the game has started, surely. But then it's like, it's the 4th minute, it's the 12th minute, it goes on and on and on through the first half, and then it picks up again in the second half. It was an absolutely dominating performance, and I think, like, to start the segment off, to say, like, was it a statement win for Lyon? Like, we're not sure. It's definitely a statement win for Barcelona by far. They had a very interesting offseason. It was part of the larger conversations in women's soccer. What is this team going to look like with some of the departures? Turns out, when you still manage to keep your stars, they're going to look just fine. Yeah. And to do it against a Bayern, that's why it is equally impressive, because of the German teams, I think we were looking for Bayern Munich to maybe come out and have a little bit of a response or a statement of their own, but they looked shell-shocked at points. Part of these very incredible, creative moments, these passing sequences, like, they're also happening because of just, like, the poor form from Barca as well. Like, so much time, so much space given to these incredible players. You think they're not going to make you pay? Like, any moment, it was like, wake up, like, wake up, somebody, like, shake them. And it never happened. So 100% a statement game. I love that they treated the game with respect. It didn't matter that they were up as much as they were by that first half. They came out and they said more.
Right.
Jordan made the point of goal differential is going to be massive. The way some of the teams that kind of had blowouts, and if you're Jordan, we can talk about this, but if you're Bayern Munich, any team that's going to play Barcelona, I don't care who you are, you have to adjust the way that you're going to play.
Yeah. You
are not going to have the ball. There's no way you're going to equal possession. There's no way you're going to have 40% possession. You're just not going to. They're brilliant players. Their style of play is brilliant. It's what everybody loves to watch. It's poetry in motion. Why on earth weren't Bayern being so compact, whether you're in a mid-block or a high press or in a park the bus, oatmeal soccer, make it insufferable to play against?
Oatmeal soccer. I've never heard that. I love it.
I've got to give that shout out to Courtney Stitt. She's the one that came up with that when we were talking about Canada. Cold oatmeal. Yeah. But why? To me, it's a tactical game. Barcelona's going to dominate. You have to respect them. They have so much talent. Why on earth weren't you adjusting? And then the last couple of goals, the tracking back, the young guns come in, Claudia Pina, Vicky Lopez, excited, come prove themselves. I mean, they're still starting positions open because some of their veterans are gone, like a Frida Rolfo. They've made adjustments. Like Peruelo isn't always starting in their domestic league and got the nod. They come in and no one's tracking back properly for Bayern. They were missing the heart. And I feel like because there were so many goals scored, they just kind of gave up. It's one of those games where you just, I don't want to be responsible for another goal, so I'm just gonna.
Right, but this has also shocked me. Like, nobody just was like, I'm taking somebody out.
Yeah, and it's Champions League.
Get angry.
Tackle, get into somebody, make it like,
get upset.
Get up, get mad. I mean, I haven't lost 7-1, but I've lost 4-1, and that was bad enough. And
I have lost 7-1. It's horrible. It might have been 7-0.
But in that, like, there has to be some kind of fight, and I think that that's the most disappointing thing for me for Bayern. One, why weren't you just in like 2 solid blocks of 4? I would start in a mid block, see if you can start defensively a little bit higher up on the field, but make it super compact. And then if Barcelona starts to get in behind you and utilize that space in behind, because they can, right? They'll read the picture and they'll say, all right, well, we'll just play it to Parayuelo over here in behind. And if you start to get beat like that, all right, let's pull back our line of confrontation and make it really difficult. Make those seams tighter. Can Barca still beat you that way? Yeah, I think they actually can. But I think that that's the hard part. Like, there was no real, like, okay, here's how we started our tactics, and then it shifted. Like, we saw a shift in other games to like, all right, we're going to change it to this. We didn't see that in this game from Bayern, and you would expect that from them. This is a team who is super organized, and it was just not there. And when that goes, it's like, okay, well, are you guys going to fight? And that would be my conversation to this Bayern team now. Like, I don't.
If you're the coach, Jordan, what are you saying? If you're Jose Barcola, what are you saying to the team?
Where's the passion? Where's the intensity? Where's the pride? Like, you put on that jersey and there should be a pride. Like, we're not just representing ourselves, our club, our country, right? Because in Champions League, this is about, is Germany better than Spain? Is the German league better than the English league? All those things. Yeah. Where's the pride? Where is somebody willing to step up and mix it up and say, all right, you guys can, if you score 3-4 goals against us, fine, but you're not getting through midfield without getting wrecked.
Getting clobbered. Yeah. Sandra, and look at who they play next. Talk about pride, Jordan. They play Juventus next.
Yeah. It's not going to get easier. It's not going to get easier. I think we didn't really get a chance to get into even, Juve's match, but, they handled their business. Maybe folks might have wanted to see some more better finishing in that match. But bottom line is they got the dub. They got their 3 points. And they are a team that has savvy veterans and understands what it means or what it takes to compete in Champions League. So it's not going to be an easier road for Bayern. I think if you're trying to look for any sort of silver lining, maybe that's what you're telling yourself. You say, okay, we got our asses cooked by an incredible team.
Yeah.
And we got that out of the way. It happened first. Now, show me who you are, because I know that wasn't it, because that cannot be who it is, like who you are. So you have to.
Yours is nicer than mine.
You have to switch. I'm telling them they got their asses kicked. How's it nicer than yours?
No, that part wasn't nice. You're right.
Yeah. So it's this cannot. You have to be a player going into that locker room, looking ahead, at the week ahead, and saying that it can't. We have to do better. It shouldn't feel like that match ahead against Juventus is a must win, but they have put themselves in that position now, not only because of the goal differential, but because of how soft that performance was. They laid down, and that is not good. And I think it's such a poor performance that, like, it's one of those things that your entire franchise is going to be asking questions of that.
Yeah.
Of the coach, of the veterans, of the veteran players of that. It's like, we gave you, you are under contract. What was this performance? What went wrong and why? They're going to want a response as well.
D, you got our pep talks. What are you saying to this team?
I'm saying, guys,
not the head nod, not the disappointed head nod.
Let's learn from this. No, I'm saying that was trash. The mentality was trash. Mm-hmm. We have veterans on this team. It needs to be better. And I think moving forward, you have a lot of game film to improve on. I do. Jordan, you do not want to be a player when you go into film after a match like that. You put your helmet on and you sit back like this, because it's coming.
Just raise your hand. That's me.
Yep. Just take accountability. That's what they need. And I think not just for Bayern Munich, but the teams that were clobbered yesterday, the tactical adjustment needs to be set, because then you can focus on the little wins. Oh, okay, I chased an attacker back and I blocked a cross and it deflected off of them. Now we gain possession. That's a big win. Oh, our press worked here. They weren't able to get out. That's a win. Okay, we got in line and got a corner. There's a win. Those little moments are what going to build to get confidence back in this team and then ultimately propel you forward. But without those little statements that set the energy in the game or make your defender have to respect what you're going to do, where you feel like, oh, I've got the upper hand, I know she's scared, no team's going to come out and respect you until you start to do that. End scene. How was it?
Drop mic.
Pretty good. Pretty good. It was the hair. It was the hair pullback for me, honestly.
Wait, pictures is a little wild.
Yeah. Me in the background, like, you know, just like, yes.
I absolutely love it. Well, there's more games to talk about, and we're going to talk about stock up, stock down of what happened with Women's Champions League over the last few days. So stick with us after this quick break.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. So even if you can't count on accurate expiration dates,
that is a rookie mistake,
or people appreciating your fashion sense,
Jim, the crowd is not on board here.
you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Glad we wear our good jerseys.
Yeah.
Hey friends, welcome back to Attacking Third. Jordan Angeli, Sandra Herrera. I'm your girl, Darian Jenkins. Okay, let's talk about stock up, stock down, our winners and losers of match day 1 of the Women's Champions League. Jordan Angeli, let's go to you first. Who is your stock up? Let's start positive.
Let's start positive. I think this is hard, right? Because there's so many good teams in this tournament. So I'm not saying that this isn't a good team, but I felt like Real Madrid's performance was a stock up for me. I was super impressed with what they did against Roma. Sorry, all my Italian friends, especially Audrey in the chat here, our producer. Redondo, 2 goals and assists. Linda Caicedo, 3 assists in this game, Ware with 2 goals. I just thought that they capitalized on all of their chances. They were really effective when they got in the final third. The one thing that makes me a little iffy on this Real Madrid team is I think you see this in some of the teams who are they're really dominant in their domestic league, even though they're in 5th right now. This Real Madrid team they're not used to teams like attacking them when they are putting teams under so much pressure. And I thought they were susceptible in the 2 goals that they got scored against. It felt like their defensive presence wasn't quite up to par if they are going to make a really big run in this tournament. But yeah, I thought Real Madrid was looking good and some really fun goals. I think one of the best parts of it is we all know Linda Caicedo, but she's turning into a playmaker now.
Yeah, which is a little deeper on the pitch,
which is really fun to watch, and another layer to her game just to add to what she already has. So that's my stock up, Real Madrid.
I love that. Sandra, yeah. What about yours? Are you rocking with the Spaniards as well?
I mean, it's hard to ignore either Madrid, right? Whether it's Real or whether it's Atletico. So maybe I'll take like a little bit of a left. I'll go with like Wolfsburg. You know, I looked at that game and I'm not gonna front like. You know, Paris Saint-Germain, they were kind of suspect coming into this one. So I don't think you look at that game and you say that it's going to be completely dominating either way. But I don't know if I was anticipating, you know, such a stark kind of score line. But that's what we got. And I think it's a testament to Wolfsburg and their program and understanding the moment, you know, and what this is. And I think there were some question marks around the German teams coming into Champions League. Like,
they lost a lot of big players.
Are they going to be able to compete with the other fellow giants of Europe? You know, and this is like a program that's coming off of like consecutive like off seasons where they lost big names, right? Like it's not
to
just
the other big dogs and
to other huge teams in Champions League. So it's not just like, you'll brand to OL in this offseason. It's like, no, it's like a season ago with like Payor to Barcelona. Like they have lost very good players. So it's like who is, I think that's almost a conversation for that team when they started their Champions League campaign. It's like, who are we going to be then? How are we going to represent not only Wolfsburg, Germany in this very, very prestige tournament? And look, you can't count out Alexandra Pop. I love a midfield wrecker, for Wolfsburg, whether it's Janina Minge or Ella Predmore. So I thought that this is again, when we're thinking about statements, a decent one for Wolfsburg. I think there's going to be that counter argument. They're like, well, they're going up against a pretty soft PSG right now that have, also gone through some similar things and lost players and are trying to find their identity again. But these are two experienced programs in this competition who are not unfamiliar with that. And to see them go head to head and then see one just really kind of come out of it, for me, it's stock up for Wolfsburg for sure.
I love that shout. Yeah, we had a lot of question marks going into that, even in the studio show of we don't know what to expect of PSG, Wolfsburg, who's actually going to come out on top. It feels like a new era of their identities that was really exciting to see. And PSG just like picking up where they left off last year, unfortunately, which gives you.
We'll get to that, won't we?
Yeah. We'll get to it. My stock up, Atletico Madrid. I changed it up, ladies. Real Madrid and Barcelona. Liga F, I thought, just came and showed out. Guys, they scored 19 goals. They scored 19 goals in match day 1 combined.
Tells us everything, kind of.
Talk about statement wins, not come into play, bold in the attack. When you're looking at, I mean, Jordan, you can talk on this too. When you're looking at facing a team that's putting up a ton of goals against good competition, competition that made it to Champions League, I'm like, oh my God. Like as a forward, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be playing wing back. I'm going to be defending against this team. Like I'm hardly going to get forward. Cool.
Right.
That's training this week when we go play them.
Yeah.
Liga F teams, my stock up.
I like that. I like going just the whole league.
Yeah, they
just
won.
Switching up. This is our show, Darren. We could do whatever we want.
We make the rules. The rules are there are no rules. But Jordan, let's start with you with your stock down.
I'm gonna go Bayern. It was difficult to watch, and for all the things that we just said, I'll keep it short and sweet. It just if they're not gonna. Granted, is it the Barca effect a little bit? Right? Like, is anybody playing in that first game against Barcelona going to have a little bit of that same, they're going to get scored on a lot? I don't know, but I didn't like the mentality. So that's what the biggest thing that I'm saying, stock down Bayern. And I hope they prove me wrong.
I hope so too, because my name's on the line.
I hope they prove me wrong for Darian's sake.
Come on,
please. Someone on Bayern, honor Darian Jenkins. She's rooting for you. Oh my goodness. It's tough because like there's a few teams that you can kind of be like, oh, stock down. I think I'm going to keep it on the France side of things. And even though they scratched out a point, I think I'm going to go with Paris FC. Honestly, I expected more from them, especially with the start that they had against OH. And you have arguably Daphne Corvos get you started in that game. Arguably, your star player in Mateo also gets on the score sheet. You're supposed to be cruising, right? These are debutantes. That they are making history in terms of just like being here in this tournament in a number of ways. They're checking off boxes of first, and now they're checking off another and getting a point against a somewhat more experienced side in this tournament. So debutantes, first Belgian side to ever compete in this competition, and you have a Paris FC that I think had some similar question marks around it, like for PSG, because they also lost big names, right? They didn't have their goalkeeper anymore. They lost Ndozie to and it's like, who's going to step up here? Like, this was a team that we saw get so much energy off of like the performances that she was able to put in goals. Sometimes it came from the back. And so it was kind of refreshing to see that like they were going to be able to go out there and maybe get a statement than themselves. So I like that they went out there to make an initial statement, but they lost that momentum. And I know people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. But you cannot have that performance and then let it slip away. If you want to come out here and make your statement in match day 1, this was that opportunity, and they were not able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah, Maria Paula is yelling at you right now.
That's okay, Maria. That's okay, Maria. We can go, we can go have a drink about it. And like, you can tell me how wrong I am, but you can't. You can't have that kind of start in a game.
True.
And let it slip away. And they did that. That's what happened.
Oh, we do got to give our flowers, though, to Leuven.
Yeah.
I am loving OH Leuven.
Yep.
I think
I just like saying Leuven.
I do too. It like rolls off the tongue. It just feels nice to say. But I love seeing their fans at the game and shout out. But yeah, Sandra, I agree. I'm sticking with the Parisiens, but I'm going with Paris Saint-Germain. That was so disappointing. Stock way down. You crashed out against Juventus last season in the Women's Champions League when you had Maria Antoinette Cototo as part of your team. You had a bunch of stars. Corbin Schrader was still there. And you traded these players away. Karchawi is playing in the middle of the pitch. And it wasn't enough. That we have such high expectations for,
as we should.
We're getting used to not having the highest expectations now. That's what at least for me, I'm becoming more accustomed to, because it's been disappointing tournament after tournament. Even in league play with PSG, they just lost to Lyon 6-1. It's not good enough for the investment that club has, the players that they do have, the young talent especially. I expect much, much more.
It needs to be a wake-up call for their executives, for their franchise. I mean, once upon a time, I think we can maybe look at the history of this team and say that they were trying to spend the money. They were trying to be that team to compete, to not only rival in their domestic league, but to become that kind of perennial contender in Champions League. And it is just a little bit, I don't want to say baffling, but it is definitely wild to see how quickly that decline has happened. So it's stock down for real, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised none of us said Chelsea, but I think we talked enough about how their stock was down.
I think they'll bring it back around.
They at least got a draw, and there's no goal differential, right? So
yeah,
fair.
Yeah, honestly, I ain't worried about Chelsea. And we ain't worried about the NWSL. We are going to chop it up about the NWSL Week 24 after this quick break, so stick with us.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. So even if you can't count on accurate expiration dates,
that is a rookie mistake,
or people appreciating your fashion sense,
Jim, the crowd is not on board here.
you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Glad we wear our good jerseys.
Yeah.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to Attacking Third. Okay, the OGs. Let's get back into NWSL. Warm up, everybody. Stretch out. Have a swig of water. There's some big games on our network this weekend. Friday, October 10th. Tomorrow. Jesus, I've lost track of the days. Seattle Reign take Bay FC on Golazo Net. And then Saturday, the 11th, Utah Royals, who are still in the fight, are facing off against San Diego Wave, also on Golazo Net. But we've got some big matches that we want to talk about. I think the most exciting one, which our very own Jordan Angeli will be on the call for. You hear her on every single game so much you hear her in your dreams, just like me. So tune into that. Kansas City versus Gotham FC. I think this is the biggest game of the weekend. I think if we're talking about statement matches, this is one that I'm looking at. The teams that are, well, Gotham not for certain yet. They haven't clinched. But looking at teams that are going into playoffs that we're pretty confident are, for sure Kansas City. What is that match going to look like when they eventually do face off in playoffs? And I'm wondering, for Gotham, how much confidence this would give them if they beat Kansas City, but even just a tie against Kansas City, I think would elevate them going into the next game, into playoffs. Let's say into playoffs.
Yeah, is that me?
Same? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this game would do a lot more for Gotham than it would for Kansas City. And that's a pretty obvious statement, right? And then the big confidence booster is if Kansas City is going to play their players. We saw, Sharples, Mace, Shawinga all have been injured or out on the injury report. We don't know the extent of those injuries and how long they will be out. But this is with those three, mainly Temwa Shawinga, this is a completely different Kansas City team because her mere presence manifests space on the field.
My gosh. Yeah.
And
wow, wait, Jordan, say that again. That's a bar. That is a bar.
Her mere presence manifests space on the field. and Kansas City thrives in space, right? They want to be able to go quickly and attack to be able to create opportunities. So for Gotham, they're hard to break down. This team has sneakily been the best defensive team or top 2 defensive teams in the league. Unfortunately, this is feeling like a 1-1 draw to me because of how good both of these teams are defensively, but they do have this ability to find that margin. And I think with Rose Lavelle on Gotham now, with Jaden Shaw playing as a winger and tucking into the pocket and being a dual 10 in moments, they have their combination play and their threat going forward. Mind you, if Esther is playing because she wasn't able to go from the start in that last game. I think that Gotham will be able to break down Kansas City. I think the same is on the other side for Kansas City against Gotham. But this is a test for Gotham. Can they manage all of the different, even without Shawinga, there are so many threats for this Kansas City team. So I might not think as funky old Medina thinks 2-1 for the Bats, but I think that this game is going to be super entertaining with tactical nuances to it. And that's what we want to see at this point of the season, because this is the runway to the playoffs, and you want any form of confidence. You want any form of, can we find a margin from the game film to then when we play them in the playoffs, be able to capitalize. So I'm excited for this game. This is going to be a fun one.
Jordan, you said 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1.
Okay, wait, ladies, can we close our eyes for a second and let's go back in time? Temwa Shawinga's first goal against Gotham at Sports Illustrated Stadium. It was from a corner, if I'm remembering correctly. The ball's cleared out. Bia holds it up. Shawinga puts her head down, and the entire field is caught under her feet. The field is moving while Shawinga.
Yeah.
The entire Gotham midfield and defense looked like they were swimming. Shawinga can turn a game on a dime. And yes, I think Gotham's defense, they have been brilliant. Mm-hmm. Very quietly brilliant this entire season. Oh boy, but but
we don't know. Shawinga, are you risking, if Shawinga's out on the injury report, are you risking her in this game to say, hey, this is our X factor? We're going to show you our X factor. Or are you saying, hey, we already have the first seed. I think Gotham will fit. I think they'll slot into the third seed. You wouldn't play this Gotham team until when then? The final. And I just don't think that I just don't think you're gonna risk it with Shawinga.
I say give her 15. Give her a solid 15 at the end of the match.
I don't know.
That's what she likes to score too.
I don't know how likely that's gonna be. Just if I'm following trends, I hope it's a great game. I hope we get to see pretty healthy lineups against each other. But if we're following trends, these aren't coaches who seem like the type who are going to get into the gamesmanship of it all, where it's like, oh, let's kind of hide our hand. Let's not really, we could potentially see this team in the final. Like, let's be careful. They've never struck me as a type. But Ananovsky has absolutely been on the rotation train. This is part of Kansas City Current's trend right now. And it's working for them in the sense that it is achieving the goals that they want to achieve. They're resting players, they're rotating them, they're getting more experience for their depth players, more significant minutes for them. But I think if you look at that last game against Angel City and the poor performance that it was, the fact that in Angel City, running out of time, grasping to thin air type of energy is putting that type of performance up against your rotated squad. I'm nervous for Kansas City going up against a Gotham side that is not, with Juan Carlos Amaros not shying away from that. He is playing his players. He wants to make sure they are peaking at the right time. Whether it's, Purse coming into these games and making an impact or getting the start. Rose Lavelle putting on the spins and giving the what, Darian? The razzle dazzle.
Ooh, it's coming back.
Okay. So I'm very excited for this game. And I think Gotham could take it. I want a winner and a loser in this one because of how it would set things up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We have spent 23 match weeks talking about how amazing Kansas City Curent. This is an opportunity. It's more than that.
Sandra, this is NWSL. It's not what we want. It's
go.
chaos.
Let's go.
It's chaos.
Crank it up.
Well,
so I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the vibes.
predictions.
I'm gonna go with the vibes. I'm gonna go Gotham.
What
2-1.
score?
I'm gonna back you, Funky Medina. 2-1 bets.
2-1. Oh my god. I'm gonna go. We're
going Kansas City. You already laid your hand down. If you go
if
against them now,
if you're both so confident that Shawinga's not going to play, that was going to be my X factor. I'll be realistic, not just what I want, but let's be real. I'll say 2-2. I actually think it's going to be a little bit more open. Why not try? You're putting in new players. Gotham, I think attack has been really good, really, really fluid, and they're hungry to score more goals. So why not? And some of the other matches this weekend, Orlando Pride versus Portland Thorns. Orlando somewhat righted their ship. Portland, it's, they're playing a little bit more how I thought they would play at the beginning of the season, to be quite frank. How do you guys see this panning out, and give us a quick little score prediction between these two?
I think Orlando needs to not give up any set pieces, free kicks against Portland. I think that will be difficult for them because they're a team that doesn't mind having to absorb some time. They're a team that doesn't mind giving the follow up when they feel like they need to. And Angelina will both be creative and be the wrecker if she needs to be. But when you're going up against the Thorns and you're looking at their form and Olivia Moultrie and what she is doing on set pieces,
oh my God,
you're going to have to figure out a way to limit that as well. So I think in terms of form, I think in terms of momentum, I think Portland's got it in this one. So I'm gonna go with them. And I'm going to say that they're going to get a goal, not off of a set piece. I think they're finally going to get it just, and just
good OG
play and just sort of build up a beautiful sequence and knock it away. Let this be the game.
Or what?
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
I'm going to go matchup that I'm really excited about in this game is Ovalle against MA Vignola. I think that's going to be very interesting over there. And one of the things that I think
used to that MA being there. Whoa.
One of the things that I feel like is going to be key to that is Allie Watt's positioning. Can she continue to float and drift and stretch into that right channel to give Ovalle some space underneath to come inside and use that perfectly cultured left foot, because we need more of that. If you're an Orlando fan, this feels a little bit like a must win for Orlando. Yeah. And Marta, maybe with that rest, can she come back with being that Spitfire that she is, carrying this team? I'm gonna go 1-0 Orlando.
Jordan, I'm doing the same.
Yeah,
I'm doing the same. I think it's gonna be, we're not gonna have the most electric goal scoring game. So I agree. And so does Skander.
Shout out Skander.
Yeah, shout out. Preach, Jordan, as usual. Okay, last but not least, let's just do a score prediction. NC Courage versus Washington Spirit. I'll start. I'm gonna say 3-1 Washington Spirit. Yeah. I'm rocking with the Spirit.
I don't want to, get too repetitive here, but I'm also rocking with the Spirit. I think the one is out of honor and respect, right? For what Matsukubo's doing for this team. Yeah. You want to leave that opportunity for her because I think she's been incredible. I think has propelled herself into conversations around end of year awards, like best 11, is putting together incredible performances for this Curd side. But like we've seen with North Carolina, it's often not been enough. So I am also going with the Spirit. I am also going 3-1.
It bums me out because I think Manaka could easily be an MVP conversation. She should be, but this North Carolina team is just doesn't have the pieces around her to really elevate her and get those wins that you want to see from an MVP season with a club. North Carolina has the hardest remaining schedule, I think, versus Washington. Then they go all the way to Bay, and then they play Gotham. They need 7 points. Oof. They need 7 points. If they could get 1 point from this one, I'm gonna just believe in this North Carolina team. I'm gonna be wild. I think Washington is is going to do amazing things. I think this is going to be not a dark horse, they're in second, but they're going to be incredible in the playoffs. I think it's going to be 1-1.
I'm just gonna
be wild.
Jordan Angeli, a wild
girl. I love it. I love a vibe.
Wild.
Let's go.
Let's go on vibes. I want to change my Kansas City one. No, I'm just playing. Ladies, this was such a fun show, recapping the Women's Champions League, giving our stock up, stock down, and talking about NWSL Week 24. Appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate everybody in the chat jumping in, even the haters. We actually love to see it. So keep clickety-clacking away. Attacking Third will be back this Sunday, October 12th on YouTube after the final whistle of Angel City versus Kansas City. Oh, excuse me, not that match. After the last game, and it'll be Lisa Carlin, Christine Cupo, and Jen Beatty talking about biggest takeaways, the best 11, and a special player interview. And don't forget, Jordan Angeli will be on the call of Gotham, Kansas City, and Bay versus Seattle, so give her some love. She always crushes it. From Jordan, Sandra, Audrey, our producer, and Trey, clicking the buttons in the back, we appreciate you guys so much. This was Attacking Third.